Some of y'all want to be D's. You want to masquerade like D's because you want to be a boss. Look, no, you're not a boss. You just bossy. You ain't no boss. You just bossy. You know, real boss, a real boss, they don't talk about their boss, but when the fire comes, they go in on the sneak tip and they go in and rescue stuff and pull stuff out. You hear what I'm saying? So I had to get out of my emotions, right? I was in my emotions and I had to go like, all right, leave that to C. C make all the decisions. All right, E, from now on, all you worry about is the experience. When people walk in, that's your job. When we get on the phone, make sure you're on the phone. Like just make sure the experience, right? So here's what happened, eyes. When I realized I was an I was like, ooh, I got the wrong people on the phone. I got people answering phones, and I'm like, ooh, this wrong. Because what happens is they love ET. And when they call, they talking to a D, a S, or a C on the phone, and they not getting the same experience. They weren't drawn to Ds. They weren't drawn to S's or C's. They were drawn to the I. So I was like, yo, I need to get eyes. So when people call customer care, they get that same warm, fuzzy feeling they got when they were now. I can't be all things to all people, but I can hire eyes that anytime we have to deal with people, I can't have D's dealing with people. Because D's going to get the results, but we're going to lose the client. Just being real, because the D ain't going to worry about how it's being said. And now my client, like, I'm up out of here. So I would literally have clients who would call me like, yo, homegirl, she got to go. And they weren't saying she got to go because that she was incompetent. They were saying, I realized what they were saying was, she got to go because she's not you. I don't feel the same way when I talk to her that I feel when I talk to you. Now, C's a leader. I'm a shepherd. So if you're an I, write it down. You're a shepherd. You're not a leader in the sense of results, but you are a shepherd in that you get results through people. So when you're a shepherd, you got to come at it a little different. Like shepherds are different. Shepherds are still leaders, but shepherding is different than leading. Does that make sense? A Hitler is a leader. Martin Luther King is a shepherd. Winston Churchill is a leader. Mother Teresa is a shepherd. It's a difference. They lead differently. And so for all my eyes, I want you to look up a book. It's called A Shepherd's Look at the 23rd Psalms. I want you to take a look at that book. All my eyes, I want you to take a look at that book. A Shepherd's Look at the 23rd Psalms. All right, now I want to show y'all something right quick. All right, so I realized that I got this dimmer switch, right, that I got to start using. So I'm looking at my natural, which is the yellow. I'm looking at my adaptive, which is the gray. Right? So what happens is, in my natural, I'm talking about stupid gregarious, like I'm right up there. But if you notice, in my adaptive, I go all the way down to sociable. So what happened was, after I had that conversation with my mom, I went from being super engaged with my mom to withdrawn. I actually ran away from home. So I didn't really realize that what happens is, when I'm in my natural and everything is going well, I'm like bubbly. But when I have to adapt, I start withdrawing. Now watch this. If you're dealing with somebody and they met you for the first time, when they're in a relationship with you and you gregarious, and then something happened in the relationship and you go all the way down to poise, like that's the difference. That's like you bipolar. I'm just being real. That's a total. And so a lot of you be tripping like, why people tripping on me when I get mad or because they don't know who you are. You like night and day. You so emotional that when you're doing good, you're giving them 100%. Then when you go down, you're giving them about 60-some%. That's a different person. A 99 is passing the class with flying colors. A 60 is you failing. And what I didn't realize is I got programmed that day. Now, that day in of itself didn't have to program me, but for whatever reason, I wasn't aware of what happened. So when things changed between me and my mom that day, it's like whenever I'm doing well, I'm like, let's go. But when I'm not, I withdraw. So now me and CJ getting into it, and we're not agreeing on stuff. And all of a sudden, I go from me and C hollering at each other to me withdrawn. Like I'm talking about, I was grown. I remember being grown. I remember one time I was in Orlando on the phone talking to my mom, pacing back and forth in the hallway, and we getting into it. And guess what? When we would get into it, it would get so heated that we would hang up on each other, and then we wouldn't talk for about a month. So that's how I used to, like, that was my, whatever. And it probably be quiet as kept. I have to ask my mom, but her and her mom probably did it. Right? So that's what I picked up. So I didn't know it. I wasn't aware of it. But when me and C would go whatever, I would do this right here. Didn't even realize I was doing it. So I was doing it in my relationship with C because I didn't heal with my mom. At that particular time, I didn't. I would do it with my wife. I was doing it with everybody, right? And so I had to realize, like, yo, E, just because you get into it with somebody, y'all can still talk. But me and my mom, when we would talk, I'm talking about when, like, we didn't agree with each other, especially when I found out that, like, yo, you didn't tell me who my mom was like, I was going to tell you. So she probably would have, but I was 12. And I'm not saying I was right, but the way I internalized it, I'm very what? Come on, I'm very what? So I took it like, oh, so you just weren't going to tell me? Like, now we grown, I've talked. My mom explained to me, like, yo, you was a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was a child. You had no way of understanding, like, this, that, but you're 12 years old. You ain't putting all no pieces together. You're not doing that. I'm emotional. Now, had I been a C, I probably would have sat down with my mom and been like, you know what? Let's kind of talk this through. For real, because that's what a C is going to do. They want a reason. An S want a reason. I'm an I. I'm just emotional. Like, oh, you lied to me. I'm ghost. Like, oh, you lied to me. I'm out. Oh, so you screaming and hollering at me because you don't like, I'm out. Right? So we would just go back and forth and back and forth. So listen to me very closely. You are a superhero, but you also a villain. The things that make you strong also make you weak. Right? Because a lot of people go and they take this test and they get certified and they learn. Here's the one thing I don't like. Theory has never changed nobody. Our baby's going to school every day and still can't read. We got people that go to school and then in the 11th grade, they still can't read. Why? Because just because you're around theory don't mean you make the connection. So here's what I'm hoping happens for you. This DISC assessment, praise God. This DISC is this belt. These tools are each one. Sometimes in life I need a hammer. This the D, y'all. That's the D. I'm talking about they high. Right? You could put nails and stuff, or you could be destructive with this. This disc is this belt, is the utility belt, y'all. And the D, the I, the S, the C, guess what it is? It's the different tools. I'm good. It's the different tools. So what happens is, those of you who are an I, every time you go somewhere, you want to go with this. It's a screwdriver, sweetheart. It's got a cover on it, so I can't see. It don't look like a flathead. What's that right there? I can't. Phillips. All right, this is a Phillips right here. I'm sorry. I'm an I. It sounded emotional when I said it, but I wasn't trying. You know what I'm saying? Y'all taking it wrong. Just told y'all I'm an I. It sounded like I was. Yeah, it's a Phillips. I just said it. You know what I'm saying? But it sounded like it came out with the emotional boy, like I had an attitude or something. That's the high I. I'm sorry. Some of you are high I's, and every time you go somewhere, you go with the Phillips. And sometimes you run up against a flathead, and this don't work. This don't work. You're a high I. Every time you go somewhere, you're using persuasion, you're inspiring, you're enthusiastic, you're sociable. Guess what? The I works in relationships, but it don't help you make good decisions. Matter of fact, if you're making decisions in your I, you're probably doing a bad job. And I did a lot of that when I was a kid because nobody gave me this test. So I made a whole lot. Bro, I was homeless at 16. Do you understand? I tell people, do you understand what it's like living in an abandoned building at 16 years old? But you know how I never went back home? I knew I should have gone back home. Here's the crazy part. I just want to keep it 100 because I don't talk about this a lot. But I remember getting into it with my mom and my dad, right? I remember just being stupid emotional, like I'm about to go. And I remember on the third day, the emotions went down. It was cold outside. I'm just being real. I remember how emotional I was when I left. Nobody told me I was this. I remember leaving the crib like pissed. Like even doing stuff that I was like, whoa, did I just say that? Like real, see and tell you. You ever heard me cuss, see? Like I don't even cuss, but I was cussing at my parents. I don't even cuss. Like that ain't even my swag. Like I don't even really get down like that. But I left that day cussing. Why? Because I was very what? Emotional. And on the third day, my emotions went down, but I ain't had nowhere to go. It was the weirdest thing. Let's say we got into it on Thursday. By Monday, I was cool. Like, I'm ready back to go back to the crib. I'm just being real. Like, in my mind, I was like, yo, E, you did wrong. You messed up. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, you weren't raised like that. You should probably go back to the crib. Why did I never go back home? And that's a part of what? Emotions. I was like, bro, I ain't about to go back and humble myself. I went too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went too far. Like, you think I just wanted to be in abandoned buildings? You think I wanted to be in Detroit in the winter? So I need y'all to understand something. This disc is a tool belt. What we're about to do is give you every single tool. Here's what I can't do for you, though. I can't get you to come out of who you are, who you've been programmed to be. You got to come out of that. Because if you're a D, you think everybody should be one. If you're an I, you think I is the sweetest thing in the world. If you're an S, you like if everybody could just get along. Right? You're a C, you're just like, why is everybody moving so fast? Let's just think it through. Right? Whenever you are what you are, you think you're the best thing since sliced bread. When actually all of them are the best things since sliced bread. Let me tell you why I believe they're all. I believe that this is the character of God. And God is so powerful that he can be all things and we can't. When I look at this is the character of God. God is, when you talk about a D, he says, I am God and there is no other. When you talk about dominance, he's like, look, I am the Alpha and Omega. Don't get it twisted. You did not take my life. I laid it down. That's dominance. That's dominance. I am that I am. Who do you want me to tell you sent me? Tell them that I am sent. Who is that? I can't explain who I am. I'm just that sweet. I'm just for real. Sometimes when you're dealing with the D, you be like, they cocky, they arrogant. No, God is like, I'm not cocky. I am. So if you list it, it's going to take too long. So just say I am. He is the I at all times. Why? The Lord is my shepherd. He's constantly looking out for your needs. You shall not want when you with me. When you with an I, you're not going to want. When you with an I that's operating at their highest level, you don't pay for nothing. You don't worry about nothing. Like they take care of you. They make sure you take. He said, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. So when you see the videos, you're like, I thought he was a gorilla. I thought he was a pilot. I thought my man was a D. What you're seeing when I do the videos is, the Lord is my shepherd. He maketh me lie down. He leadeth me besides the still word. That's when you see E, shepherd, come out. Like, I can see you just dumb. Come on, I got to make you do what you're supposed to do. You're just not going to do it. Remember, he maketh me lie down in what? In green. Because you wouldn't even, like, that's what's best for you, but you're going to go over here and do some dumb stuff just because you sheep. So he has to make you do what you're supposed to do. Is that clear? And so when I used to do my videos at first, I wasn't getting the results I wanted because I felt like he don't go there. It's like, nope, you're a shepherd. You got to make him do stuff. Remember what he said? My rod and my staff. Yep, sometimes I'm leading you, but sometimes I'm using that same staff. Like, you're just not going to get it. You hear what I'm saying? The S. Come on, man. If y'all look, man, the word, he said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall see the kingdom of God. And what is that? Here's what I love about the S. What I love about the S personality is they're the only personality that don't have no agenda. Your agenda is their agenda. They're the only ones that don't have no agenda. Like, and sometimes people be looking at them like, you ain't got no drive. No, I don't have no drive because you my drive. The S don't want to do nothing but make sure you straight. The D ain't on that. The D like, I got an agenda. The I like, I got somewhere I'm trying to get you to go. The C ain't got nowhere for you to go, but they just right on everything. You know what I'm saying? The C, they just perfect. Right? They just know-it-alls. But that S is a peacemaker. Right? That S, you might look at the S, go, but it's like a linchpin. You looking at a linchpin like it ain't that sweet. But ask a F-150 in a trailer how important that linchpin is. Because if that sucker come out while they doing 85 miles per hour on the freeway, everybody gone. So you looking at, it's a cute little linchpin. But let it come out. I say all the time, I tell Carl all the time, like, yo, for real, I got mad respect for you. Why? I love to see the life. And see, it's like, you going to be the number one, and I'm out here speaking God loud. I had been speaking loud for years and didn't nobody know who I was. There was only one person who literally went in the studio and was editing. See, sweet with it. See, ain't about to be editing and cutting. See, sweet. See, here's the plan. I'm going here executing. Don't nobody still know who we are. But Carl was the one that was like, we probably need Pro Tools. I'm like, what's that? Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm I just want to be with you, hang out. Carl was in there editing, cutting, put it up on YouTube. And I became a household name because it was on YouTube. Don't play with the S. Don't think because they not loud. Did you know that 98% of all billionaires are introverts? I'm going to say it again because I know sometimes D's and I's think they sweet. Did you know that 98% of all billionaires are introverts? Only 2% of billionaires are extroverts? I want you to do something with that when you get a chance. Did you hear what I just said? And then that C, man, that C is so powerful. That's when God said on the first day he created and he said it was good. And on the second day he created, he said it was good. And what's so sweet about the C in God is that he didn't make man first because he didn't want him just dangling, waiting for all the other stuff. So when the C creates, they do everything in order. So man was made last because they wanted to make sure the grass was there for him, the animals were there for him, the sun was there, the moon was already there, the stars was already there, the water was, everything he needed was already there when he came. And then he waited to give him woman last because he wanted him to have appreciation for it. And when God creates stuff, he never has to come back and do it again. When he does it once, it's done forever. When the C puts their hands on stuff, you ain't got to keep coming back to it. I love the D to life, but the D's gonna get some results, but we got a lot of cleanup. The D be like, I got him. The walls, holes everywhere. Yellow tape, blood spattered. We got to bring in the cleanup crew. When the S does it, you say they slow, but the S on the roof for 3-4 days, don't eat, don't drink, don't sleep. Don't nobody even know. Don't nobody know who shot who. There's no damage, there's no nut. They just saw somebody land on the floor. What happened to my man? Don't nobody know. Because the C is precise. So you said he's slow. He wasn't slow. She wasn't slow. They were methodical. You see squirrels, raccoons, possums, all in the ground in the morning when you wake up as roadkill. You never see turtles. If turtles are so slow, why they not get hit by cars? Why aren't they roadkill? Because the squirrel ain't even, he just, I'm sweet. I'm quick. Bop. My man fast. He like, and he know he fast. That's why he cocky. He see the cars coming. Watch the squirrel the next time. They sweet with it. They see you coming like, bop. The turtle like, look, we ain't even got to go when cars are coming. You feel me? The turtle like, why we even go if cars coming? That don't even make sense. So we're going to wait till there's no cars and we're just going to go by. So I want y'all to do me a huge favor. This is not about coming to some conference and going, I know some stuff. This is about going home and transforming your life.